All right, let's talk about something we've all felt. You're staring at a project or you're running shoes and you absolutely know you should be doing this important thing, but you just can't. There's this invisible wall and you feel completely stuck. It is so frustrating, right? And it turns out it's a universal human thing.
So what's the deal? Why is it so incredibly hard to do the very things that we know are going to make our lives better, our health better, our careers better? It feels like you're literally fighting your own brain. And let's be honest, the part that wants to just chill and watch TV usually wins.
But here's the thing. What if I told you that feeling, that stuckness, isn't a personal failure? This isn't about you being lazy or undisciplined. No, it's actually a real, documented process happening inside your brain. And once you understand it, you can start to work with it.
So, to really get to the bottom of this, we need to take a little trip inside your head and meet the person in charge, the CEO of your brain.
In the world of neuroscience, they call this executive dysfunction. Now, that sounds pretty serious, I know, but all it really means is that your executive functions, the mental skills that help you plan, organize, and actually start things, are having a tough time. Think of them like the management team in your head. And when that team is struggling, the whole company can just grind to a halt.
And when you look at the common symptoms, man, do they hit close to home. Having a hard time just getting started on something? Yep. Trouble organizing your thoughts into a clear plan? Oh yeah. Getting totally overwhelmed by your emotions or forgetting what you walked into a room for? It is all part of the same pattern. This isn't some rare clinical thing, it's just a description of that mental friction we all feel sometimes.
And what's the advice we always hear when we're in that rut? Just do it. Push through. You know the drill. This whole tough love, get harder approach is everywhere. The message is basically, your feelings don't matter, just use your willpower.
But for so many of us, that whip-based approach, as they call it, just leads to feeling guilty and totally burning out. I mean, trying to force a brain that's already struggling is like trying to rev an engine with no gas in the tank. It completely ignores the reason you're stuck in the first place. We need a smarter way to think about this.
And that smarter framework, it exists. It comes from this really powerful idea in psychology called self-determination theory. It gives us a much better map of what actually drives us as human beings, one that works with our brains, not against them. So this idea, self-determination theory, or SDT for short, has been around since the 70s and 80s, and its core message is actually pretty optimistic. It says that we are all born with a natural drive to grow and improve. So it's not about forcing yourself to do things, it's about figuring out and feeding our fundamental psychological needs.
So to get this, you can think of motivation as a spectrum. On one end, you've got intrinsic motivation. That's when you do something just because it's fun, like playing a video game. On the total opposite end, you have extrinsic motivation, doing something to get a reward or, avoid a punishment. But in the middle, that's where it gets really interesting. There's introjected motivation. That's when you do something to avoid feeling guilty or ashamed. And then there's the hero of our story today, identified motivation. This is when you do something, not because it's fun, but because you truly deeply value the outcome.
Now, according to SDT, that high-quality motivation, the kind that actually lasts, is fueled by meeting three universal needs. First, autonomy, feeling like you're in the driver's seat of your own life. Second, competence, that feeling that you're actually good at what you do. And third, relatedness, our need to feel connected to other people. When those three things are in place, we don't just survive, we thrive.
Okay, so this brings us to the most powerful tool we have in our motivational toolbox. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with willpower. It's all about finding a better why.
This quote really gets to the heart of it. For all those things in life that are not naturally fun, we're talking doing your taxes, studying for a brutal exam, going for a run when it's cold outside, identified motivation is your superpower.
This is the secret sauce. It's the art of taking a boring, annoying, tedious task and consciously connecting it to a bigger goal or a value that you have personally chosen and that you deeply care about. You're not just doing paperwork, you're building a stable future. You're not just studying, you're taking a step towards becoming a doctor because you want to help people. See the difference?
And the magic ingredient that makes all this work is autonomy. It's that feeling of ownership, of choice. The second a task feels like your decision, driven by your values, it transforms from something you have to do into something you choose to do. Taking control of the why is everything. All right, this all sounds great in theory, right? But how do we actually do this in real life? Let's get practical and look at some strategies you can use to put this stuff to work.
Okay, first it starts with setting goals that are actually yours. Before you even start, you gotta ask yourself, why do I personally want this? Or am I just doing it because someone else expects me to? That personal buy-in is absolutely crucial. Second, when you feel that motivation start to slip, and it will, you have to consciously remind yourself of your why. Write it down, put it on a post-it note, whatever it takes. Third, try adopting an identity. This is a subtle shift, but it's a game changer. Instead of thinking, I have to go to the gym, you start thinking, I am the kind of person who takes care of their body. And finally, you have to actively reframe your inner monologue.
And that final step, reframing your mindset. Wow, is it powerful? You are always in control of the words you use inside your own head. Just shifting from, I have to do this, to, I am choosing to do this, or I get to do this, that is a direct exercise of your autonomy. It changes the entire feeling of the task, from a heavy burden to a genuine opportunity.
And hey, one last little tip, don't forget you can always try to make the task itself a little more fun. Make it more intrinsically enjoyable. Put on an epic movie soundtrack while you do your expenses, or turn studying into an adventure by finding a cool new coffee shop. Even small boosts of fun can make a huge difference.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. We always talk about motivation like it's a tank of gas. You either have it or you don't, and it can run empty. But what if that's just the wrong way to think about it entirely? What if motivation isn't a resource you have, but a skill you practice, a structure you build one choice at a time, by connecting what you do today to the person you truly want to become tomorrow?